I came to Mochdre in 1962.
When you were married?
Yeah, when I got married, I met, I met Sheila 61, the end of 61, and then we got married in 62. Mm-hmm. Well, her dad died, and they lived up the next to the end house up Chapel Street, and they didn't like living there on their own, so I went to move in, and I'd got a job in J.K. Smith then, hadn't I? So, and then her mum says, I don't know why you two don't get married, and, because you're living here, so that's what we did.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so it's 1962.
And that was when you started working at JK?
Yeah, in 1962, yeah.
And what was your role there? What kind of job did you do?
I was a turner.
Yeah?
I used to do turning, milling, and whatever they wanted,
Steel? Or?
Oh, yeah, mainly aluminium.
Okay.
Mainly aluminium it was, we did there, yeah, mainly aluminium. But they made oil bits for the North Sea. And then they made saws. You see them cutting the road up, saws.
Yeah.
We made
still
those.
saws.
Yeah.
Okay.
Diving tip saws, yeah.
Yeah.
And they made all kinds of stuff like that. We used to make saws to go to Italy for the cutting the marble.
Oh yeah.
6 foot diameter saws we made.
No way.
Yeah, for cutting marble.
No way.
Yeah.
That's huge.
6 foot diameter saws. From little ones about that big to up to 6 foot. Great. And now you can buy those diamond tip cutters from Sturmat cheaper than what they could buy the saws, the blades then when they were doing it.
Yeah.
And I mean the quality of them is good. Nothing wrong with the quality of them.
No.
No, I've used them. I bought them and used them.
Yeah. That's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the amount of people that went into that. Where was the steel coming from? Where was the aluminium coming from?
They had a wholesaler. He came from Liverpool way.
Okay.
And they got most of their aluminium from the wholesaler.
Yeah. Okay. And oil parts as well for the North Sea oil rigs. Was it cutting? Was it for?
Yeah, for cutting. They were all
drilling.
Steel.
For drilling.
Yeah. They were about this high. They were.
Right.
And about that diameter.
God.
Yeah. And sometimes, if they were really desperate, we've known them to fly a helicopter from Manchester Airport to pick it up, and then take it to Manchester Airport, and then fly it then to Glasgow.
God.
That's when they were desperate.
My God.
They wanted it the next day, so a helicopter came and picked it up, took it to Manchester Airport.
God.
From out there, they flew it then to Glasgow.
And I heard on the grapevine that you did a bit of work for Rolls-Royce.
Oh yeah,
mm-hmm.
We used to make wheels for Rolls-Royce. Yeah, we used to make different types of things, and they used to make a dime tip shaping tool.
Yeah.
In the grinding.
Yeah.
And they used to, as the grinding wheel went around and ground the material, whatever they were grinding, as it came around, this would reshape it again. The diamond, it was all diamonds, and that would reshape the whole thing. So every time it went around, it was perfect shape.
Brilliant.
And Rolls-Royce we used to make a lot of those for Rolls-Royce, and they used to grind their engine parts with them.
Right.
But every time it ground it, it was ground pure, so it was a perfect shape every time it went around.
There was no mould mark or...
There was nothing, and it was a perfect shape every time.
Wow.
And they used to set them. They used to have girls setting them. They used to make the round disc.
Yeah.
With all the holes in, all dips in.
God.
Wherever they wanted the diamonds, and then the girls used to
set them in.
And then they used to put them in a big bath. And that used to coat everything. They made all kinds of stuff like that.
That's incredible. That is incredible.
But they were a good company, in its time.
Oh yeah. Well, I used to speak to John a lot, and him,
John was very good. Yeah, I mean, John landed up, didn't he? Making his pile, didn't he, John? He did all right, John, I think.
Yeah. But he went out to America as well, didn't he?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to him about Chicago and the factories out there. He'd spent a bit of time.
Yeah.
Like training them and.
Yeah, they used to send us. My foreman, he went out there, and then we had the Japanese over for 3 months.
Right.
And they were taking over. They were going to start making all the stuff, you know.
Right.
And that was 3 months. They came over, Japanese, because we had a man there who worked with us. He'd been in a prison war camp, Japanese.
Really?
And as soon as they walked in, he walked out. He said, I'm not staying in this. He wouldn't stay, because he knew what they'd done, hadn't he? He'd been in the prison war camp during the war. He'd been there. And you know what? For 3 months, you know what? Every Friday his money was put through his letterbox, every Friday.
Yeah. They kept paying him.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Of course.
Sorry, I did here all day. You
No, but
got better
that's the
things to
story.
do, I'm sure.
Yeah. No. Incredible. So the Light Opera Society, 50 years.
Yep.
So when was that in the 60s as well?
That was another thing I started in 1962 as well.
Right, it was a big year for you, that, wasn't it?
Yeah, some friends of my mother-in-law, Joe Taylor. He was the musical director for them, and he rang us up one day and said, "Can you come and give us a hand? We want somebody. We want to make scenery." So I went over there to the place and started making scenery. And Sheila, she sort of joined in and made the tea. You know, when it was tea time, she did that. So, and then a few weeks ago, it went on, and then one man dropped out, and we were doing a sabre drill, and we had to have an even number.
Right.
So he said to me, he said, "Dave, come and stand in for a couple of hours for me, will you?" And that was it. Nobody else ever came, so I landed up in the chorus then, didn't I? I wasn't a great singer, but I landed up in the chorus. But you don't have to be a great singer to be in a chorus.
Well, there's a lot of chorus members that would
Yeah.
rattle their sabre at you about that.
But it was what we did this. He was in the. He'd been in the Grenadier Guards.
Okay.
So he knew the sabre drills, didn't he? And
he did.
it was a French sabre drill he'd rigged up. You know?
Okay. Brilliant.
Yeah. So that's how I got landed, and they couldn't get rid of me after that.
Brilliant.
I didn't go in all the shows. It was just the shows. If they wanted me, I'd go in, you know. Or, but I used to make the scenery, and I'd work backstage, and I used to like working backstage. I love it. The first one I ever did was called Belinda Fair, and then we did Oklahoma. We did Carousel, My Fair Lady, King and I.
Wow. And Oklahoma was new back then, wasn't it?
It was fairly new back then, yes, because the committee then says, "Oh, that's a modern show. We don't do modern shows," you know, and it was really then. But and then our producer who came in, he was a producer. He came from Llandudno originally. He produced shows for the musical players in Llandudno.
That was the Arcadia. Were they playing at? Were they? The Arcadia Theatre. Was that where they were? Or the Grand, I suppose, was it?
No,
then?
they did. They used the Grand, didn't they?
Yeah, it was the old
Grand.
Grand.
No, they didn't use the Grand. They used the Palladium.
The Palladium.
The one on Mochdre Street.
Yes.
That's where they did the. That's where the pub is now, isn't it? The Palladium.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's where they went.
Right.
They did the shows there because that still had all the dressing rooms and everything, didn't they?
Right. Yeah. Brilliant.
Because there was loads of cinemas then, wasn't there?
And what was the opera site? What was it called when you started in '62 in Colwyn Bay? What was it called?
Colwyn Bay Light Opera.
Colwyn Bay Light Opera.
Yeah. And then we had another society who was called the Operatic Society.
Okay.
They tended to do. They did more of the very old ones. They did G&S as well, Gilbert and Sullivan.
Oh, yeah. Proper stuff.
I like Gilbert and Sullivan. People say, "Oh, Gilbert and Sullivan." I think it's good.
Yeah.
If you listen to the words, it's funny.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's hilarious, you know. Yeah.
What was your favourite? Do you think? What was your favourite production?
I think for fun, for chorus work, Oklahoma was the chorus work in Oklahoma is brilliant. Oh yes. Oh, it's brilliant, Oklahoma. And then we did Carousel and The Merry Widow. Music, the Merry Widow was nice.
Oh yeah.
You won't know all these, will you?
Yeah, I know more. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. And how long did you rehearse?
We used to start in September, and then we'd rehearse once a week until about February,
Mhm.
and then we'd rehearse twice or sometimes 3 times a week if we were needed. And then we used to put it on quite often round about Easter time,
Right.
perhaps a week before Easter or just after Easter, but it was round about Easter time we put the shows on.
Good houses?
Then we used to fill them.
Really?
Oh yes, I mean then you didn't have telly then, did you? And we used to fill them. Oh, every for years we used to fill the whole place. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yes, it was no problem. It was television that killed us in the end.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow, incredible. And that was the Prince of Wales then, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yes. Yeah, it was the Prince of Wales then. Yeah. Well, it was my job. I was supposed to kept me. I could walk to work, couldn't I? You know, it was only down the road. I only walked to work, and then my mother-in-law then moved to when they built the bungalows down here.
Mhm.
She moved down there, and we stayed then. And then we stayed up there then, and lived up there. Yeah.
Do you remember anything about the floods? The big floods?
Oh, the floods! Yeah, I nearly lost my car in the floods. I went. I came out the house. There was something wrong. I went to my car to get my toolbox out of the boot, and as I opened the boot, all I could see was this wall of water coming round the corner. So I leapt in my car, started it, and next door I had a drive, so I drove it up their drive. And the water actually, it was coming fast. It actually came over the front of the bonnet. And then all the rest of the cars that were parked all disappeared down the lane. That was terrible, that. And then all the cottages were flooded, weren't they? And the garage was flooded, of course, and the shop was the hairdressers. There was a hairdresser's then at Swan Buildings.
Yeah.
That was all flooded, and half of Mochdre, I think. A lot of Mochdre was flooded, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was. Do you remember the carnivals? Mochdre.
Yeah, yeah. We went to. Yeah, they didn't run all that long after, because
No.
they had the last carnival they had. They said that they had a queue from Mochdre right through to the other side of the lights in Llanfairpwllgwyn. It was solid. And they wouldn't give permission. The chief constable had to give permission, you see, but they wouldn't give permission after that. It was because of course the new road wasn't there then, was it?
No.
But he wouldn't give permission. But they told me that the queue was solid all the way through.
Wow. Incredible.
Yeah, because everybody was going home, making their way home, you see, weren't they? And of course that was the main road.
Yeah.
And of course the carnival went up from where Smith's was then. They
Yeah.
used to go to the rugby field, didn't they?
Yeah.
To the cricket field, and then it went up all around the council estate, right to the top, and then around again and back down the main road.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah. Do you know what? It might sound stupid, but you don't want to miss. We had a gorgeous park in Mochdre and tennis courts.
Really?
Yeah. Where the bungalows are, across the way to the view.
Yeah.
That used to be tennis courts, and I think I missed that.
Mm.
I thought that was nice, that.
Yeah.
And oh yeah, a lot of people used to go there, and if it was a nice afternoon, they'd go and sit in the park, and you could watch them playing tennis, and it was. And then all of a sudden they closed it, and then they built bungalows on it.
Yeah. That's what they do. Incredible.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember the smithy here?
Oh yes, yeah. I've still got something in my garden that Smithy made.
Really?
Yeah. Well, we moved temporary to the cottages further up.
Yeah.
Well, the end one,
Mhm.
that end,
Yeah.
not this end, that end. We moved in there for about 3 or 4 months.
Right.
But then, no hot water, just a cold tap, outside toilet. It was really great. It was brilliant on it. And we lived in that for a few months, and the landing, it had all cracked. All the wood had cracked, and I wanted a bar, and I came down to the smithy and said, "Look, is there any chance of me doing this bar?" And he came in and had a look. "I'll do something for you," and he made all this scroll for it.
Oh,
And when the people who did all the alterations, they were throwing it out. I walked up the lane and there it was on the skip.
Oh no!
And I said, you can't throw that away. The local smithy made that. So I've got it in my garden.
Ah, brilliant.
Yeah.
A bit like me in my pier, there. See the ironwork there behind you?
Yeah.
That's the Colwyn Bay Pier. I dug it out the sea. See the scroll work there?
This? Yeah.
That on the right there, look.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But right behind your head there. See
Oh,
that?
this?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's the pier.
That's the Colwyn Bay Pier. I dug that out the sea.
It's a shame to lose things like
It
that.
went, didn't it? It just collapsed.
I thought that was a shame that the pier went.
Yeah.
I think that was a crying shame that they let the pier go. Oh, we used to have some dances there. We used to go dancing on Friday and Saturday night to the pier.
Oh, really?
And then on Sunday afternoon they'd have a dance band at night, and then Sunday afternoon they'd come out and they'd have tea out, and they'd have an orchestra then playing on a Sunday afternoon.
Oh, magic.
Oh, it was great, yeah. We had some great times, you know.
God, yeah.
Everybody watches telly now.
They do. A shame.
Yeah.
Well, that concludes our interview, I think.
Oh, no, now you're not going to use it, are you?
Of
Oh,
course.
God, no.
That was
I
absolutely...
thought you didn't switch it on, did you?
Of course I did.
Oh,
How old are you, Dave?
I'm 83.
83.
Yeah.
What year were you born?
37.
1937.
Yeah.
That's a big year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Where were you born?
Llandudno Junction.
Llandudno Junction.
Yeah. So I haven't moved far. Do you know, if you go through the junction,
Yeah.
have you noticed they have a laundrette?
Yes.
You know where the laundrette is?
Yeah.
Well, I was born in the flat above there. And it was a grocer's then. It was a general grocer's then. And it was Jackson's. And the Jackson's, he had the... he grew a lot of his own stuff by Glanconwy Corner. The lane that, you know, where you go over the railway bridge.
Yes.
And then there's a lane going down.
Yes.
Well, he used to go along there, and he had all his greenhouses there and that, and he used to grow a lot of his own veg and stuff there. Yeah. And then, but that was a greengrocer's then. Jackson's, yeah. Anyway,
David, thank you so much.
it's a pleasure.
Brilliant.
Load of rubbish I've told you, but
No, brilliant.
edit it, won't you? Really
Oh,
well.
I'll edit the bejesus out of it.
Really.